Hi guys, it's Tiffany and Amy, and we are going to do a quick video on booths and fairs. So as we talk, go ahead and share your questions, but we have some of your starting questions that you asked last week. So we're just going to jump on in and download our knowledge on booths and fairs right into this video for you guys. All right?
So this is the Tiffany and Amy show, and it may happen again. So if you like it, we can keep it going.
Give us a thumbs up.
So first things, let's talk about maybe a little bit about how to get a booth and fair.
Okay.
How to get that. So one of the things that we hear a lot of people talk about is look on Craigslist for upcoming craft fairs and things like that, organizations that you're a part of, whether it's a school PTA, your church, a mom's group, things like that. So one of the most important things is when you see an event, just because you can't do it, don't give it up. If it looks like a good event, you might want to check with us first, go ahead and grab it. Give us the contact info. We'll help fill it. So, don't you think?
Yes, and I actually noticed today that I get notifications from my Nextdoor app, and somebody just posted an event at a local elementary school, and I didn't even finish reading it. Like, I went and clicked on it immediately thinking, okay, it could be a booth or a fair, so let me just check on the date. Even if I can't do it, I wanted to make sure that we got a PCHEF rep of some kind on one of our teams on there so we can secure the spot.
Because what often happens is if you do the Bayport Elementary School, I don't know if that exists, craft fair this fall, they'll call you again next fall. And so we want to get the first dibs on as many of those as we can. So if you see one, go ahead and grab it. And if you're brand new to booths and fairs, check with us and we can help you determine which ones are good, which ones we say, okay, that's not worth time and money for that. So if you don't know how to make that call, let us know. We'll help with that.
So Amy, what would you say would be a comfortable fee?
Depending on the hours, I think you kind of have to look at the hours. So if it's, you know, I know our elementary does a craft fair from like 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. and it's 30 or 40 bucks. I think that's a great price. When you're looking at $75 to $100, you're going to want to be there all day, 8 hours, and you're going to want a lot of foot traffic. So if it's something that's really small, like maybe it's a very small church and they're doing their craft fair and they want $100, that may not be equitable. Is that the right word? No, that may not be a good idea. It may not be a good spendage of your money for that. But if you've got a lot of traffic, like it's a really big high school and you're going to have a lot of people coming through, spend
like
a little
it's
more.
the 20th annual Red Mill Elementary craft fair. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay, like today I just got notice of one and I asked them about how much traffic they're going to have and they said, well, it's our first one. I was kind of like, eh, but it's a Relay for Life, it's a fundraiser, so I'm like, all right, the money's going back to Relay. It's on a Friday night that I don't have a show, so I might as well do it. And then it was only 25 bucks. So I thought that would be pretty fair.
I'd pay $25 for a show.
Yeah, if we were handing out shows for 25 bucks a piece, wouldn't you guys pay for that?
I'd pay
so think about like that. If we were handing out shows for 25 bucks, you might as well go and do it.
Because what are you going to get at a show? A couple of bookings usually. We try for 2 at least. If you do a fair and a booth the right way, you should walk away with at least 2 bookings.
There you go.
There you go.
All right, so that's how to find them.
Yep.
Now once you got it, what do we do next?
So next we need to talk about what am I going to take with me? How am I going to set up? So that's the next thing.
Yeah.
So what are some of your tips for that?
So when I first take, this is something I've learned along the way. So I pack my car so that the things that are in the back of the car are the things I first need out. So
that's smart. That's smart.
You know, that's just something about packing. So I push my bags of product or whatever taking towards the front of my area, and then at the back end is where I have my tables, my tablecloths, and all that, because I can't put any product out until my table is set up. So that's another thing you can look at when it comes to fees. Sometimes they'll say, okay, well the spot's $25, but if you need a table, it's an extra 10. If you need power, it's an extra 15. Whatever. We don't need power. Most of the time we shouldn't be cooking anyway because of food permit issues. So I just kind of am like, well, I can bring tables and save myself 10 bucks. You guys can borrow my tables. I have 3 6-foot tables and that you can borrow. So I kind of put that towards the back of my car. I pull them out first. I take my tables and then things like this. All right, this is a runner that we got many years ago. I have 4 of these that can be lent out to local consultants. So one says, get the more you're looking for, ask me how. I'm reading this backwards. And then the other one says,
hosts receive free products. Ask me how.
Okay, so if I have a nice 6-foot table, I can put a solid tablecloth on it and then run them both long ways. So one showing one and one showing the other. that's how I've been doing my booths here recently. I actually found an aqua tablecloth that matches the new pans really nicely, and it looks really good color-wise. So, but your tablecloths, I mean, I think that's, you gotta think about that. What are you putting on the table? So, dollar store tablecloths work?
Dollar store tablecloths work, but you have to be careful with this because they do tear easily. So you don't want to have a holy tablecloth, even if you're in church.
Even if you're in church, for sure.
So you have to be careful of that. Now, I have a white tablecloth that I take, and I have my black one on top, my Pampered Chef one on top. But my white one has a few stains, but I strategically cover those stains. The other thing to think about when you are draping that tablecloth, you're just programmed in your brain to put it even on the table. I always put it where the, if this is the front of my table where the people will be, I've got the back edge here and then the front end long, and I shove boxes and whatever
so you're
under.
Covering what they can see. I cannot stand it when I walk into a vendor fair and I can see like the vendor's bags.
Yeah, no.
And then they're trying to make the tablecloth even on both the sides.
Don't
so think about the edge and it going from here down.
Yes.
Like that. Okay, so like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what I do with my bottom tablecloth, and then I put this over top. Now, you may want to think about height. How are you going to get height?
So what I do is if there's certain things that I keep in a box, like for a while I kept my deep covered baker in a box when we first got it because it was new and it was in the box and I don't want to break it. So that was a good thing to take and stick under my tablecloth. And then on top of my tablecloth I can put my stackable cooling rack.
Isn't that lovely for creating some height just like that?
So it's height plus it's displaying the product. Now I usually bring two of them. I have one that's old and rusty and I have one that's new. And so my old and rusty one again goes under the tablecloth for height, and then my nice new one goes out and I can talk about it and display. So that, and height helps. So I am really, I'm not the best one at setting up the table, but I always go back to my old standard of I have a high corner and a high corner. The people are looking at me this way. I have a high corner and a high corner, and then I try to kind of go down and I leave a little open space in the middle.
Very good, yeah. So visually, you want to think about like when you walk into a store, like say you have a display like in Target, you know, they strategically place things at like different eye levels to create that visual. So you want to kind of think marketing-wise what you should be doing. So maybe Google that. If you're not a very visual person, it may be helpful to like Google images like that. But we've got lots of pictures from past displays that you can totally do. So just this week, we had a consultant show you that she got crates at Hobby Lobby that she then puts on her side this way or the side this way, and she puts stuff on there. You can even paint them so they match products,
right.
You know, or create contrast, whatever you want. You also can place, I have a bunch that I'll supply the link to you guys, with plastic food. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
Okay, so like this time of year, you'd want to have like pumpkins and gourds and things like that. So I have some things like that you can put on the table. I also have, they're fake, but they're chocolate-covered strawberries.
Yeah.
So that would look great like on a platter to show that off. So I have a bunch of different things like that. At Christmas time, I have little buckets that have Santa, they're like Santa hats. Dollar store, okay, totally easy, and it just helps to break up the monotony, and then I may put some cash and carry stuff in that, which we can talk about in a minute.
Another thing that I do for color is I take my flexible cutting mats, because they are 3 different colors and our products coordinate, and I'll place them at different places on the tablecloth to highlight a specific product collection. So I don't really ever put my knives out because I don't want anybody to stab me. But also, I'll put out a cutting mat and then put maybe some cookie cutters. The emoji cookie cutters, and then I'll do another one maybe with just some baking items on it. So I will kind of use that to corral items. One thing that I don't do, and my mother, the very first time I did an event, it was in the fall, and my mother brought like a little scarecrow, and she was like, you can decorate your table, and I was like, Mom, I don't sell scarecrows, so I'm not putting that on my table. So that's just one thing. And we did mention the food. We're not supposed to serve food that we have prepared. However, if you have a little basket, like we have baskets, serving the wicker serverware, if you had that with some prepackaged mints, you could. That's a good
Lifesavers,
draw.
Jolly Ranchers, Dum Dums,
Like
things like that, because that will also bring the kids into the table, and then you can say, oh, you got to ask Mommy and Daddy first,
right.
And then that way they bring Mommy and Daddy over to the table.
Yes.
So that's strategic, okay?
Yes. And then Play-Doh. That's the other thing.
Play-Doh is the other thing. Okay, so Play-Doh and our cookie cutters.
Yes.
The rolling cookie cutter, the regular cookie cutters,
Garlic
all of
press.
that. So
garlic press
yes, the garlic press to
hair.
make hair. I bring all of that with cutting mats up and I put it in the front. Now, if I have the space that I can run my 6-foot table and my smaller 4-foot table, I'll run the smaller 4-foot table. Even if it's all on the side, I might angle it in front of my square. If you visualize
it's like a
your
corral,
roof.
like you trap them.
Yeah, so I put that there with the kids' rolling pin, with the regular rolling baker's roller, the cookie cutters, all that, and then the kids will play with that.
Yeah, not a real knife.
Not a real knife. And just let them play with the Play-Doh there. And I tell parents, go ahead, you can shop and leave them here. They're fine as long as you're okay.
And they won't, because they're like, that's a crazy lady. I'm not leaving my kids with her. So they don't leave. And that's why we love it, because it is actually a proven fact that children cannot walk away from Play-Doh. I don't know if you knew that. Science.
So if you're like really homemaker-ish, you can make your own pudding. Not pudding.
No,
Play-Doh.
Don't let them play with the pudding. That's not, we're not going to do
You
that.
can make your own Play-Doh and then you can have it. I just go and whenever I see it on clearance, like 50 cents a little thing, I just pick it up and I keep it in my closet. My kids don't play with Play-Doh here, so it just stays like in my booth and fair stuff for when I go and do stuff.
It's good. They can't get away, and then the parents have to talk to you. So one other thing we mentioned earlier we were going to talk about is placement. If you have the option to choose where your table is, you want to be thinking about that. There are certain people you want to be next to and certain people you don't want to be next to. And it doesn't mean they're not a nice person, and it doesn't mean you can't have a treat with them later or whatever. But there's certain people that you want. You got to kind of look at it, and I always recommend getting there as early as you can and scoping. Like, bring your stuff in, but maybe don't choose your spot for a minute and kind of look around.
Sometimes they're pre-assigned.
Sometimes they are, and you have no options unless you can effect a swap. But you probably don't want to be next to the Tupperware lady. Not that there's anything wrong with her, but we kind of have competing products there. So maybe we don't want to be next to her. But who's been the biggest thing that you see people coming to at these crafts and fairs? The biggest draw where everybody runs to them is who? LuLaRoe. They all want to see what they have. Did they have a unicorn? Whatever. So it might not be a bad idea to be near that table because a lot of people are going to come. And so you look at where's the door? Where's the LuLaRoe?
Maybe I want to be in there somewhere. Yeah.
So they have to come.
It's all about merchandising and marketing yourself.
Yeah. I don't want to be right next to her because I don't want people going over there right away from me, but I want to be right there next to her. I don't have a problem being next to skincare. Usually they talk to people for a long time. So, and that's just, don't you find that?
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
Yeah. So I like that.
I also, if I'm working the craft fair and say me and my 31 friends signed up together, we'll ask to be side by side so that when she needs to go potty, I can relieve her and I can watch her table and she can watch mine. Now there are times where you may be working with another paper chuck consultant. So say for example, Chesapeake Jubilee, which Laura puts together every year in May. So she overlaps the spot. So when that's the case, there are 2 consultants there, and so you can say,
yes, that's good. I thought you meant like my table and then her table. I'm gonna take
her
out.
No.
Okay.
So like if Amy needs to go to the bathroom and she wants to go break for lunch, she can do that, and I have the table.
Right.
That being said, when the people are coming to your table, you definitely want them to fill out a door prize slip.
Yes.
So this is something that was handed down many years ago, and I've tweaked it over the years. But this is just, we print this 3 to a page, and then, like, say Amy and I were working together, she would have the yellow ones and I would have the blue ones. That way, when they get folded up and get put in our drawing, we can still just draw a winner, but then at the end of the day, I can say, okay, all the yellow ones are yours, and all the teal ones are mine.
All of mine want to sign up.
So she knows who to call and who to follow up with. Say you just don't have time to do all that, you can use the white ones that come in your kit and then just write your initials in the corner. That's totally fine. Or if like you forgot your door prize slips and say, hey, can I borrow some of yours?
Right.
Just put your initial in the corner. Also, when you're doing door prize slips, so say me and this customer have a nice long conversation. As she walks away, I'll say, I'll put it in the drawing for you. I'm writing down, lady with polka dot dress with 3 kids and the husband who likes stoneware. Right. Then I put it in the bucket. So I'm writing myself notes, or even when she drops, say she does drop it in, I pull it back out, write myself notes, and then I put it back in.
Yeah. So, and we can give you this file if you like these or want to print your own or whatever. But the important thing is you want them to fill this out. So how are you going to get them to fill this out? Okay, one thing, let's make it easy for them to fill out. Let's have pens ready to go. Let's maybe have those little clipboards, the little tiny clipboards, okay, like that, so that they have something, because at a booth or a fair, they can't, they're like, let me move all your cookie cutters.
And then it's hard to write on a tablecloth.
Yes. So if you have that, then that makes it easy. So, and then the other thing is, you want to give them an incentive to fill this out. So what are we going to do as an incentive?
So sometimes I might have one of these little cheapy chalkboards from the dollar store and just write enter to win. I didn't say what it was, and I put it right in front of whatever I'm doing. And it could be, say that for that day I want to give away, well, everyone always wins a free cooking show. So that means I bring the ingredients to the cheapest recipe that I can do, and the paper products and all that, they just invite their friends. So that's an easy giveaway. You can say you have a product that you just want to get rid of, you could use that. You could use a gift certificate of a value to be redeemable with you.
We can give you info on how to do that if you want to do that.
So that's, you have a variety of ways that you can do that. It's up to you and what you're willing to give away.
So one thing I will caution you, if you're going to do a product giveaway, think about that product that you're giving away, because if it's something that everybody already has, there are going to be people who will go, what's the price? No, I'm good.
So they're like, oh, you're giving away a batter bowl? I already got one of those.
Yeah.
So yeah, think about your product. That's why I tend to do
enter to win,
and then that way it's a cooking show or money to be redeemable through me. That way they usually spend over the amount of the money that you're giving them, and then you make commission off of it.
Right.
If you're just giving them a prize, they have no reason to come back to you unless you've built that rapport.
Yeah.
So that's why I really have shied away from giving a specific product.
So the other thing that I do with these is I prime the pump. When I get there, I fold up 2 or 3 and throw them in the bucket so it doesn't look like they're the first person. So I don't know why I do that. I just feel like I don't want an empty bowl.
All right, so on the very bottom of this, which you're not going to be able to see real well, but it says, I really have no interest in Pampered Chef. Contact me if I win. So this is like the same questions I ask at a cooking show, but it has that one little line right there. So that kind of can help you weed out some people. However, you can still follow up with them, but it's kind of gauging them too.
Yeah, because I know we were looking at what you guys had asked, and I know one of you had asked that. We were pulling up your questions.
Yeah, what if they just have no interest, they just want the prize?
Yeah, so that's kind of how you can tell that. So that's a really good question to have. So we need to talk about what to bring, right?
Yeah, so typically here recently when I just did a show, I just brought all the new stuff.
Yes.
So I focused kind of just on what was new in the fall product line with a couple staples, like my rock crock, my deep covered baker, and actually I didn't even bring the big deep covered baker. I brought the little baby orange one.
Yes.
So even though that was new last season, it's still like, oh, they haven't seen that. Yes. So I definitely focus on what's new and exciting. Sometimes you don't have that stuff yet. Just bring your kit. Okay, bring the items that came in your new consultant kit. Make sure they are clean.
Big one, yes.
Big one. Okay, you want to make sure your items are clean.
And look at them in a good light, because my dishwasher will leave splotches on my rock crock lid, and so that's one thing I have to check, that I don't have water spots on my lid, because I have crummy water. So I always try to check that before I show up, because that's something, you don't know what kind of lighting you're going to have, and if you're inside, people are going to see that. And you might want to, if you're outside, this is another thing, you might want to throw some kind of a really soft cloth, because when you're outside, if you're in any place that has any dust, dust will settle on this stuff, and so you may periodically just need to kind of hit it. That's the only time I don't dust my house at all, so that's the only time I dust.
And I carry Clorox wipes with me, because that can always be something that you can just wipe down real quick.
Yep.
And then I usually have some kind of a hand towel anyway, like I'm packing for a show, and I have my apron, so if push comes to shove, I can take my apron and
let's talk about aprons. So you're going to need to either wear logo wear or an apron. And I really like an apron at these events, because if there are people who don't know what Pampered Chef is at all, immediately they're thinking kitchen, you know. So I think the apron really helps kind of hone in.
Yeah, and then I usually keep my phone in there.
Yep.
I might have my change bag in there if you took some change for cash and carry. And then I might even, another thing I have is recipe cards.
Recipe cards.
Or business cards. So that when people walk by and say, can I give you a recipe?
Yes.
So what you do in the booth. That's what you do the whole time you're standing there. Some things you can say is, to get them in if they're trying to walk by, would you like a recipe card? You know, I haven't low-jacked it. I even joke that way, and then they take that. So then they're like, oh, Pampered Chef.
Let's do a little do and don't. Can we move that here so we pretend like this is our display?
We can. All
right. Let's move it over there, and this will be our display. So there's a lot of products. So if you're, and again, going back to what Tiffany was saying, if you're wondering about what to bring with you, make a decision. Either do just what's in your kit so you can say this is what you get when you join, or do just new products, but always bring stuff like the Rock Rock. And if you're looking to fill a specific month, bring the host special for that month. Because that way you can talk about it and show it if that's something that you're working toward. So if this is the booth and this is it. So let's just do a little fake scenario here where we've got people walking by. So this is the don't. Okay, this is going to be the don't if you are, yeah, good call. I'm going to be the fair goer and I'm going to be walking by looking at Pampered Chef. This is totally the don't. Because I'm not interested. She didn't engage me in any way, shape, or form. Your phone is not needed when you're there. I mean, you're going to have it with you, but you don't need to be on it. You shouldn't be sitting. Okay, if they give you chairs, put your paperwork on it, not your butt. And you don't want to be behind it. So the do is like this. Watch us.
In front of us.
Come around.
Hi.
Hi, would you like a recipe? Would you like a recipe? Are you a Pampered Chef fan? Would you like a recipe? Would you like a recipe? Would you like a recipe? Everybody gets a recipe. So that's kind of how we do when we're there. And we're just trying to draw people in. So catalogs. Let's talk about catalogs.
Okay.
How many catalogs do you take with you?
You know, I have some old summer catalogs right now, so I really want to get rid of those.
Throw those.
So I'm like giving those out like hotcakes. Okay. Now, if there's somebody I'm really engaging with, I'm like, oh, well, here's the new mini, or I'll reach and say, I've got the new catalog, and I pull it out like that.
It's definitely just for preferred customers.
Yes, for preferred customers. Like if I know that they are someone that is definitely going to engage with me later, I'll give them a new one. But if I need to get rid of some of those old ones, why not just hand them out to anybody? You know, circulate through all the other vendors and give them one of those catalogs too.
Yeah, so the other thing about the catalogs is Tiffany has her laminated catalog. I take one catalog is on the table. And you can pretty much guarantee every season if you pop it open in the center, there's good stuff. So I just pop that bad boy open right there and everybody can see. And they can flip because people like to flip while they're telling you that they've had a stone forever and it's black. And I have all kinds of Pampered Chef. Really, what do you have? I have a scraper. And they're flipping the catalog. You know, so they want to tell you about all that stuff. They love to talk about what they have, but they're flipping the whole time. And you can go, oh my gosh, that's my favorite. Oh my gosh, that's my favorite. Everything on every page is my favorite. But
can't you like take a catalog, split it in half, put it in sheet protectors, and make that your master?
Yes.
And put that in a binder right there on the center of your catalog. Nobody's going to walk away with that.
What happens if you put 3 catalogs? People will walk away with it. They'll be like, that's mine.
Yeah, if you just leave one
or laminated or something permanent, they're not going to walk away with it. So there's that. Let's see what else we need to. So what are we talking to them about when we get them? When they come over, because we gave them a recipe and we've trapped their child with the Play-Doh magic. What are we going to talk to them about?
So I may say, you know, have you heard of the Pampered Chef? Oh yeah. Or no. And then so it depends on how they answer that one, which way I go. When's the last time you hosted a show, or when's the last time you've been to a show? What's your favorite product? And if they're just kind of looking at stuff and they're not really like looking up at you yet, you can say things like, oh, I really like the shirt you have on today. You know, you're trying to engage with them. Oh, your child is so cute, or whatever. You've got to come out of your shell a little bit and you've got to fake it till you make it and just ask them questions. That's the best way to start building that relationship with them. Is just ask them some questions about either what they're wearing, what they're doing, who they're with.
Yes, and what they do in their kitchen. Do you cook every night? Oh my gosh, you've got so many kids. You look like you must be busy. Do you have a crazy dinner time schedule? Because you want to get them talking about products. You want to show them, oh my gosh, this could change your life. But not, oh my gosh, this is my favorite. It changed my life. Let me tell you what I do all the time. But talk about them. So you really want to engage them, like Tiffany said, and then turn it so that they can see why they need whatever it is in their kitchen. You're
trying to solve problems and give
Yep.
them solutions in their kitchen. Okay, so that's why, bring in some of the new items. So we've got our new mini fluted pan, and you can say, oh my gosh, I really like this. Do you like to do homemade gifts for Christmas? And, follow, depending on what they say, but you can say this is a really great thing because you can make your 6 little things, whatever your favorite recipe is, and then give them as gifts. So that's
I love cake if you want to give them.
Yeah, cake is awesome. So one of the suggestions that was shared this week is that somebody went ahead and made cakes the night before their vendor event. They package them in the little boxes. I just gave all mine away today. But they packaged them in the boxes, and then they had them on display on the table. So that is a really good idea that you can do that too.
So I know somebody asked about, cash and carry. We need to talk about cash and carry.
Okay.
And then we can talk about gifts.
All right, so cash and carry is a completely personal decision on your part. A couple years ago, I started to shy away from really large items. One, they're heavy.
Yeah.
Two, I don't want it to make it like I'm lugging in my entire house into this thing. And we don't carry inventory.
Right.
You know, that's the big thing with Pampered Chef is we don't carry inventory. It's a perk. Everything comes from our home office. So I tend to do things that are small that I know are really good add-on kind of things. So mini serving spatulas, both the nylon and the regular. Sometimes scoops, like the ice cream scoops and the small, medium, and large scoop. A brownie pan maybe might be the highest dollar amount I go. Maybe I'll have one or two of these right now.
Because they're new.
But I really don't want to take stoneware. I really don't want to take cookware. I don't want to take forged cutlery. Stuff that has lifetime guarantees because I have no way to attach it to them to do a return.
Yep.
So if for whatever reason they need that. So I really shy away from that. It also clutters my table if I don't have a lot of space. And then I do, say the little wicker baskets that we have, I do use those to maybe put some of those things in on the table. But I don't go overboard.
Yeah, so, and she does cash and carry, I don't. Because with the big stuff, you have to think about, you're going to take it in, and likely you're going to carry it back out, and you're going to have to store it in your house. Because you have no idea who wants a stone, who wants a rock. I'm going to tell you something, everybody wants a mini serving spatula, okay?
Yeah.
Because they can't find theirs, so they need it. So that's a good thing to bring. But don't go overboard, especially if you're new. Don't spend a lot of money on that, because you know what? I can order this stuff and get it right to you.
Now, I have had a man buy an ice cream scoop, right off my table. I'm like, dude, this is mine. This is used. He's like, I don't care. I need this right now. So I was like, okay. So what I did is I actually inputted the order as if he was ordering it, and then it had to ship to me. So he kind of exchanging out the item. I got the new one. He got the used one. I've done that with a can opener before. Sometimes people just need it right then, and that was my solution was, well, I'll pretend like I ordered it. I'll give you mine, and then I'll reorder it. So that's another way I know people do cash and carry of the things that they have on display is they're reordering it to replenish their cash and carry. So if you are doing booth after booth after booth, that may be something you want to consider.
So, and that's something we want to talk about. When you go do a booth, your goal is not to sell a bunch of cash and carry. Because that really just makes you into a little tiny retail store that is selling $4 items left and right, and that's not who we are. So we are in the home party business, whether it's virtual or actually in a kitchen. We are in the party business. So we want parties. That's what we want to walk away with. We want a ton of slips in our drawing, whatever we throw them in, whether it's a rock, or batter bowl, whatever, and we want to go home and have all these parties to schedule. So really, the idea is if you need a $4 spatula, go ahead and buy it. But let me tell you about this rock that you're probably not going to buy off my table, but I can help you get half price next month or this month or whatever. So that's really your goal, is to make those contacts, whether they're just going to be your customers or they're going to join your team or they're going to fall between and host a show. So that's your goal. So definitely train your brain that when you go to these events, you want to meet as many people as possible, you want to get as many information from as many people as possible, and you want to walk away with that. Now, can you get the show on the calendar right then?
Yes.
Please. So
do you take host packets?
Yes.
Yes. So you're going to definitely want to take host packets. Now, one thing I learned from Amy is that she packs her folders without catalogs.
Yes.
And then as she does the folder, she slides the catalogs in there. So the catalogs are kind of separate in her bag. That's what she does for shows. So I totally learned that from her, and I do the same thing.
Because it's less weight.
Definitely less weight. And I can even put them in a, you can do little prizes that if they book a show, they get a prize off the table. You can do stuff like that. But really, when it comes to doing the booth and fair, if I come home and I say, man, I made no sales today, but I got 4 bookings, that's a great vendor fair.
Yes.
Okay, because remember, I paid $25 for those 4 bookings.
Right.
So that is totally worth it to do that. I've even gotten a recruit at a vendor fair. The Mary Kay lady said, hey, I have a friend that would love to do this. And she was on my team. The friend ended up joining my team. So I was a huge success. I got very little sales that day, but I got a new team member. So you really have to evaluate and train your brain on what is going to be worth it to do the vendor event. If you don't have a show that day and somebody says, I need a Pampered Chef consultant to fill this table, why are you not doing it?
Get your bag and get in your car.
Just go.
Right, go.
So some people keep a vendor bag packed, you know, this time of year. I definitely feel that fall vendor fairs are like more plentiful because people are shopping for Christmas.
Nobody's shopping in March.
Yeah, like I kind of don't do as many in the spring as I do in there, but there are certain ones that I make sure I return at year after year.
Yes.
But definitely gauge what a good vendor fair is versus what you think is not good, because the bookings and the leads really count when it comes to vendor events.
So one of the other questions we had on here was, should I go ahead and put together gift packages? Now, some people spend a lot of time doing that, and so you have to kind of do cost-benefit analysis and say, is it worth my time to do that? Now, there is, and some of you who are local will know this, the Bazaar. And so if you're doing that, people are walking through and they want to buy right now. I want to order that gift set, I want to order that, I want to order this, I need 3 bottles of wine and all the leggings, and they leave, okay? And that's what they're there to do. But at your typical vendor fair, unless you're talking about a 3-day event where thousands of people are coming through, it may not be worth your time to put together a lot of this and wrap it up pretty and all that. Now, if it's something you're doing for your shows already, and you're going to be taking that to your shows and saying, this is our pie making gift set, or whatever the gift sets are, because I'm going to call them the wrong name, then okay. But if you're just doing it for that one day, kind of gauge, is it worth my time? Because the pictures are in the catalog. If it's something that's just seasonal, we're going to be able to download that, and you can go to Office Max, Office Depot, and use your Pampered Perks to have them print you a nice copy for very, very cheap, and you can take that and you can show it. You don't have to have it in person. So, and again, table clutter. Is it going to clutter up your table?
So you could take just this and wrap a big old ribbon around it.
Done.
And there's a gift. So that you're just giving them the idea, the trigger, because then you can open the catalog and show them the sets that we have.
Yeah, and so when you're talking about gifts, because we are coming up to the holiday season, don't just say, because they're like, oh, my sister would love this. Say, how many of your friends are in the same boat that you're in, where they're trying to think of something for that one person on their list? Because I bet we could throw together a really fast, fun party. We could fill in your favorite recipe, and all your friends could check off their guest list, because we want a party. I don't want to just sell you this. I want to book a party so I can sell all of your friends this and all of your friends this. So kind of, again, be thinking about, not just the sale. You get excited, oh, somebody wants to buy $20 from me. No, girlfriend. We need to book a show and have all her friends buy $75 or more so they get a free gift.
Now, after the show is over and you've packed up all your stuff and you've taken it out to your car, I'm usually wiped after I do an 8-hour vendor event. Now, one thing I forgot to tell you at the beginning is I usually wear a junky t-shirt to set up my vendor fair.
Yes.
I get very hot, so I do wear my hair up. That's why my hair is up today, so that you guys can see that. As I wear my hair up, I wear a junky t-shirt in, I load my table up, and then I go out to my car.
Take a nap.
I don't take a nap. I change my shirt, I put on my makeup, and I strategically park my car near one of the entrances so that people will see my logo on my vehicle as they're driving in. They're like, oh, the Pampered Chef lady is there.
Yes.
Okay, so that's before I even start with my table, I do that. But now that you've loaded up and you've gone home, I'm usually wiped, then I come home and take a nap. And so then maybe, I usually kind of my office day, say the event was Friday or Saturday, Sunday, my office day is usually about a Monday or a Tuesday, and it's time to go through all these slips. So this is what you're going to do. People say, what do you say to them after you do the vendor fair? Well, you have to call them, okay, and say, hi, Susie, this is Tiffany with the Pampered Chef. Do you have a moment? Or what is the...
So I usually say, hey, Susie, this is Amy with Pampered Chef. I met you on Saturday at the fair. It was so nice meeting you, and I was calling to let you know you're one of our winners. Are you so excited?
That's it. That's so easy. So easy.
Now, if you actually start to vomit when you dial the phone, and you cannot do it, and I mean you actually have to try it, and I want to see photo evidence, okay? Then you can send a message. Does this have what's the best way to contact me on there? Does it have that?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to see they're going to say the best way to contact me is email or text message or Facebook or whatever, and so you can send a message and say, Just wanted to let you know, hi, this is Amy from Pampered Chef. Just wanted to let you know you're one of our winners. I'll be in touch soon. That way you've kind of paved the way to make that phone call.
So it's a warm call, not necessarily a cold call, because you've done that already.
The other thing I've heard people say is that same message sent via some electronic form. You were one of our winners. I'll be calling you soon to let you know what you've won, but if you call me first, I'll give you 10 extra bucks.
Ooh.
So then they call you.
So then they call you. That's even
Yes.
better.
I love to answer the phone when it's my customers calling me. I don't want to call them. I don't like it.
Yeah, I always like it when they call me.
Yes.
So there's so many things that you can offer them between the cooking show, the virtual show, the fundraiser, bridal showers. You can even spin it into a housewarming. And then we have all of our themes, which we've spent plenty of time on at team meetings. We can definitely give you some more. So you just got to know kind of what you're going to say. It's just like any other customer care call. We have scripts for that on what to say, especially with just, you can treat it kind of an out and about contact. So just don't be scared. And if you are, do it scared.
That's right. So now that you have some of our info, pop on with any other questions that you have, and we'll get those answered.
Okay, you guys good?
Bye-bye.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye.
I'm trying to hit the finish button.
This video will never be over. So also at vendor events, what else should we do, Mia?
Oh my gosh. It's like totally stuck.
You know, you could demo things, so we can't feed them, but we could totally chop up a cucumber in the manual food processor and just show them what it looks like. But if they try to eat it, I'll snack it.
Oh, the veggie spiralizer is a good one to do that
That's a good
too.
one. Yeah, that is good.
All right.
Potatoes get gross sitting out. Cucumbers
do.
are better.
I still can't hit the finish button. It just won't let me finish.
Yeah, I'm from karate.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll take over for you.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, well I'm just going to do this so that I can close it. Okay.
I don't know. What's that about?
I'm trying to just hit
Take
the...
this off, maybe. Maybe that's like the pressure. That button do anything?
No, it's not even letting me...
Wait, didn't that happen the other day when we
this
did
button.
one for the chicken?
Oh my gosh, this is what my phone's been doing lately.
It's like everything's stuck.
All right.
Frozen.
All right, so go get your son and Mia and I will figure out how to do this.